channel. Before we get to that, make sure y'all get to our channel, Hooli TV. Like, subscribe, share, promote. It's free, man. It don't cost y'all a thing, man. It's free 99, man. But yeah,
definitely hit that like button
for sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Definitely hit that subscribe button, share, and tell your people about it.
But yeah, man.
Corny to me at this time because I've never seen it before. But as we was talking about before, I'm never going to do things because I saw somebody do it. Right. I want to do what I've never seen done, and then that was it. And I recognized immediately the difference. The difference. There's some homeless men that if they told you the same story in a suit, you would respect it differently.
You agree?
You know what I mean?
That makes sense though, because like when I was like younger, OG Pyro nigga I grew up with was telling me, he was like, man, you be laughing about people be wearing them zoot suits. They called it zoot suits.
Oh,
at
yeah.
that time, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They do these little poses with the little pictures.
Yeah.
You know, but they was like, you'd be surprised how people will perceive you with a suit on, then you wearing Dickies and a bandana on the right side of your pocket. You know what I'm saying?
You don't understand it as a kid because it's corny.
And at first, I swear to you, I didn't. But that's just like with interviews. Like if you go to a job interview, you see people with a T-shirt on or something, you be like, how the hell they gonna get this job?
Oh, yeah.
I know he ain't finna get
But he
this
might
job.
as well turn around right now.
You know what I'm saying? But then when you come in, you know what I'm saying? See, me, I'm a bigger dude, so I can't, but I got to get confident with that, like we talked about earlier. But I'll put a polo on, my Cardi frames.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? My bracelet, my necklace, and all that. You know what I'm saying? Back then in the early 2000s, we was wearing Maury's. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I feel it. Everything is a presentation, is a representation of yourself, exactly about how you put on. I'm wearing this right now, but I damn near was going to put on a button up
I think
tonight.
that I think the influence is powerful, and I stick with what I do because what I do has not been recreated. Right? And I think it can be, and I think it will. I don't know exactly how or when. That's not my job, but I know that the little niggas listen when I'm talking.
Copy.
And if they listen when I'm talking, then they watching and they seeing. And I don't know when, like I said, but it'll happen, and they'll have a way to say, oh, I can do that like that. My nephew going to prom, he calls me. Yeah. Hey, can you put it? I'm just like, yeah. My son, he go, I had my son working at, I did a resto mod. I build resto mods. I build to order for collectors, right? And of course I collect myself. And I had an exhibit at Butter, a lot of bills that we had up there. And my son was working it, and he wanted to wear what his daddy be wearing.
Smart.
My son, 18. This nigga thinks I'm the coolest nigga alive. That's crazy.
Yeah.
You feel me? Like me having a teenager think you were cool, that's wicked. That's not something that, I wouldn't give a fuck with Andy. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? When you get that.
Nowadays, it's like, especially if you got kids that's like my son just turned 11.
Yeah.
And he'll be like, he talking to me about like the curve stuff, but he knows that I'm a rapper too.
Yeah.
So, and I'll be saying certain lines, so he'll be like, Dad, you ever heard of Red Hot Chili Pepper? I'll be like, give it away. He was like, how do you know this stuff, Dad?
Yeah.
I'm like, come on, man. He's like, nah, you just old, Dad. I'm like,
first of all, watch your mouth.
Right. That's how I be like, come on, man.
Yeah, I think it's a beautiful thing. But I think to answer your question, or I guess to expand on that, everything I do is so intentional. That but it's so different that it don't seem intentional. And it's very organic. Okay. You know what I mean? But I think the most powerful things seem organic. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Right. But there's an intention to it, and then the impact follows.
Yeah, I think there's something to being intentional, deliberately and consistently intentional. Like, I probably call myself intentional when I really, I'm on that. But for the most part, I kind of let things flow, Organically, I try to, if you believe, I believe. Absolutely. So, the Most High, I kind of let him bless me with things, so
I
feel
take
like
the ball and run.
Exactly. You know what I mean? I leave a lot on the table probably by not going and just grabbing it. You know what I mean?
I'm running. you being nice about it. Guy hand the ball, I'm sprinting.
Yeah.
And it's pitch black. I don't care. I was given the ball. I'm running with 100% trust that it ain't a brick wall in front of me. And I ain't busted my head yet.
And that's why I wanted to ask. That kind of leads to my next question. So where or what was the point, and you might have had it your whole life, but what cultivated this just super confidence that you display?
I don't know if it's like I said, I don't think there was a definitive moment.
Yeah.
It's just who I am.
Yeah, you might have, this might be your superpower. Like this nigga just came out as, the mentality of being that nigga from the jump. But you know what I mean?
I think it probably, this to keep it, to be very honest, my words have the weight as money does in gold of I'll beat your motherfucking ass.
You might have said it again.
Let me reword. Imagine saying something that you won't die behind. I'm gonna die behind anything I say.
Copy.
So it's not so much confidence as it is surety. You feel? Right. There's no question. I know what I'm talking about. And if there's a 1% chance that I don't know, then I'm not saying it. Right. I just want to learn. I'll ask the questions. But I think the confidence comes from my words being insured with dying behind it.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense.
And I'm saying if your money is backed by its weight in gold, or your words is weight in gold, but or whatever it is, something is weight in gold, but your money is backed by gold, your words should be backed by the confidence of you got to die behind.
And that'll give you your confidence if you're ready to die behind, whatever you're doing, saying.
Otherwise, shut the fuck up.
Right.
That's passionate right there. You can't even go against that right there, for real.
I think so, but I think now there's a large area where people can rest with their words being thrown about in a pool where it don't really matter.
Like people just content with just what it is when they could really
I was being more subliminal by social media. Like you can go in there and throw words in and it don't matter who they're coming from.
Or if you meant it for real or if you're going to stand behind it or anything. There's no consequence for your...
It's all right.
Yeah.
It's perfectly fine. And I don't believe that. I don't get to wrestling though either. I don't want to wrestle.
I feel like with your, I guess you call it fan base.
Okay.
Do you really even have much
my
disagreements
fans is
or anything back and forth?
My fans is dogs.
I would assume that most of them just kind of, are going with what you're talking about.
No, they're going to get them. No, it's always, it's new viewers every day, every time. Yeah. Thousands, hundreds of thousands. But there cannot be one thing negative dropped in before my fans is on their bumper.
Yeah, okay.
They getting their pages taken down. They on that, you got to think it's fans. I got fans that been fans through all these eras. True. I got fans that been diehard fans for 20 years. It's fans with colored portraits of me, been black and gray portraits and Tre Niner on them. It's fans that have followed me from music to tattooing, to social media, to film work, to rest on my... It's fans that know me from before all of that in the streets. And they wasn't a fan then. They just knew who I was. And then you know what I mean?
Right. Like, I know that nigga and he going up. So, okay. Right. So that's what I wanted to ask you too, just regarding social media. So like what is your main social media platform that you do your most traction on?
Niner. TRENINER.
Okay. Yeah. Now is that a website or what, you know what I mean? What is...
That's the social media platform. Instagram, my bad.
Okay.
Yeah, my bad.
Gotcha. So that's the tag on Instagram. Yeah. So Instagram is your...
At Tre Niner.
Gotcha.
That is where that's where I maneuver the most. And of course I have my tattoo Instagram, which is Amani Tre Niner.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? And which that was first for real.
Yeah, that's where I kind of, tapped in from the tattoos.
Yeah. That was a different... I came into the tattoo scene at a different time though.
Yeah.
This was before... Like tattooing is easy now, It was a time where it was rough because there was not. You got to think I was tattooing before Instagram.
Right, you was before the social media shit. You was tattooing.
You couldn't just hashtag something to see what it supposed to look like.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So it was a different era, and it's a lot now though.
Okay.
It's a lot of resources. I think the things that people villainize are really resources.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And I think it's almost with anything, that it can be used as a weapon or a tool.
True.
And it's up to
that's
you
damn true right there,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah. Real talk.
Man.
So with the tattoo landscape, I know that you got out of the game, but I'm sure you still
I'm
got your hand in
retired.
it.
I'm kind of retired. I love it. So I still do big pieces here and there, but my son tattoos. So
so it's still going.
My son work at my tattoo studio.
Yeah.
I own animation. I never tell anybody I own anything, but I own and operate, and I fucking hate that. I hate when people be like, I'm the owner and the operator, the CEO. Shut the fuck up.
Man.
It's to tell us that the business doesn't work well without you. That's not, side note, that's not a business. That's a hustle.
Okay.
You might be a business, right? Yeah. But that's not a business. So any business is like a machine, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But any machine, if you can subtract one component and the machine no longer operate, that was not a well-working machine.
Yeah, real talk.
You feel me?
That makes sense.
My businesses are well-oiled machines. And you can subtract me, and I might be the primary component, but the business still operates.
That bitch still gonna run.
Yeah.
Exactly.
With anything, right? You can subtract a component and it might operate at 70%. It might operate at 60, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
But it still operates and it can still be self-sustaining. Right?
Yeah. Just like a boat and a tire type shit. If one is if it's like 5 of them right there and one is out,
you can lose one. You're gonna be all right.
Come on, man. Yeah.
You get down to one lug. That's a scary ride. But yeah, I say that to say my son tattoos. He works at, but there was no choice. That's another conversation. Raising children, I think it's the craziest thing in the world to leave your child's future in their own hands and the hands of the schools that they go to. Wicked.
Now that's crazy, right? Because like I said, man, I wanted to ask about this one. So I be hearing people talk about making your kid go to school is stupid and all of that. Okay,
for some people.
But
I think not going to the gym is stupid for some people. But one of the craziest things is people will say every black person should own a business or every person should own their own business.
Not
That's
everybody.
not realistic. That's crazy.
Everybody ain't meant to be.
People don't have the capacity to be at work 24 hours a day
at all,
because that's where you are mentally if you are operating a business, and it's not realistic. There's people that I love that will never operate a business. They work for me. Some of them work for other people and things like this. My homeboys, it's like my brother. It's my brother. His wife, fucking phenomenal. She's sharp, right? And we joke about it all the time. She's like, I'm never starting a business. I want to go to work and go home.
Yeah.
And we joke about it, but it's real. And it's a beautiful thing to understand that and not press. I don't press people with my own lifestyle or my abilities. I think sometimes you have to not fault people for things that you should just credit yourself for.
Yeah.
You feel me?
That's saying a lot. You know, that's saying a lot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like you said, as you know, all the ventures that you got your hand in, everybody can't do that. You know what I mean?
No.
I
wouldn't have no value.
Yeah, everybody can't do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I know it's ups and downs to that shit too. And it's like,
yeah, absolutely.
You know,
to
withstand or even go through it, it's like shit. A lot of people fall off from you know what I mean?
People get scared easy. You know, some of the greatest fighters, you never saw them because when they got punched in the mouth, they quit. You know? And I think when you get broke, when you're in a business to make money, side note, if you look to start a business so you can make money, you in for the wrong reasons. If you're looking to make money, you're not going to do good business.
Right.
But if you're looking to do good business, you always going to make money. So I think when that happens, when it gets rough, when the tax time goes away or whatever the thing is and things get scary, that's when they get hit in the mouth and it's abandoned ship. I planned for the trap to dry up the first day I started. Oh, I tell you, I dropped, side note, I post things on Facebook just to screenshot and put in my stories on IG. Don't worry about it. My point is, I put on there once, that car is not a flex if you paying a note on it.
Okay.
Oh, that went to, boy.
I can see people arguing that.
Fired them up, boy.
I can see people arguing
they
that.
mad as shit. And that's cool.
Right.
But it still stands. That doesn't mean you shouldn't be proud of these things, but it's not a flex.
Yeah.
You know?
That's more of a necessity. Like you gotta pay
I would say it's a liability.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Financially for sure, but you know.
Not for sure, just my perspective, your perspective. You feel what I'm saying? Because some people will never have the discipline it takes to attain the things, to acquire the things that they would like to have.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Right.
Like it's easier to live through credit. And if the internet says it, it's a fact. The internet says credit is king. I love when people will be like, oh, but all the millionaires have are you a millionaire? Like how many people did you watch do this? How many people did you watch go from poor to a millionaire living this lifestyle with this linear motion, right? It doesn't happen that way. But I can't argue with it, and I would never say it, because if people don't listen to the internet, then they're not going to listen to us.
Facts.
You know what I mean? So I don't fault it, but my idea is ownership is king. If you can own it, now you live in the life. Because what is the goal, right? What is the goal when it comes to working and acquiring? It's to retire, I imagine, right?
Right.
It's to later not work.
So you can stop working.
That's the idea. Yeah. How can you not work if you owe money?
You're going to have to keep working.
I would rather have something. I would rather own a piece of shit than borrow a piece of gold.
Because it ain't yours.
Man, it's mine. I can go sit down for 6 months. Can't nobody take nothing from me. You know? Aside from taxes, that's usually the argument. Like, you never own it because it's fuck off. You don't own the shit you borrow on either then. We ain't got to worry about that. Side note, you can't own a lot of things outside of taxes if you do it properly and very legally. We ain't getting into financial things.
You mean like buying the house, getting some land, and getting some farm animals, and use that as a tax write-off?
Close. Like buying trust. Some land and having an agreement with your family that you bury whoever passes on the land that you have.
Heard of that.
Never pay taxes again. Nobody can take it from you. It's in your family for the rest of the existence of the world.
See, that's hard right there. That's dope right there, man. What applause for that, man.
I think it's things that people stay away from because they haven't seen it done. And the internet is so influenced, it's so heavily influencing that they believe it. Which is also why I usually don't get online talking about how you should live your life.
Yeah. That could be dangerous. That could be dangerous.
Oh,
that could be dangerous. You know,
don't you walk them people down that plank.
That's a great debate right there, man.
Sure.
Okay, yeah, because it's like it's almost like, how can you relate? And then they'll say this that kills me all the time, bro. They'll say, "Oh, I've been there before, bitch. How?"
Relax.
Come on, blood. How can you tell me you where the fuck impossible. I'm at?
But I don't look at it like that. Ooh, you know, I think it was T.I. He said, a blind nigga telling me, no, he said a broke nigga telling me about how to slice a pie is like a blind nigga telling me it's an eye for an eye. And I don't agree.
A broke nigga telling me how to slice a pie is like a blind nigga telling me an eye for an eye.
Meaning you cannot take financial information from a broke nigga, well as you can't take, but I don't agree.
Okay.
See, I got a different outlook on that one, right? Because I was talking to one of my guys, man. Me and him was chatting about some money.
Yeah.
And he was saying, man, a broken clock is right twice.
2 times a day.
I say, yeah, but we don't listen to, you know what I'm saying? We don't be thinking off of like lyricism when somebody's saying something. Yeah. I'm saying, like,
yeah.
But then you really think about it. But then he's like, no matter what that person was or is right now, he was something.
Could have been. I agree.
You know what I'm saying? To where that's why he's kicking that game to you.
I think so sometimes.
To a degree.
And I think the blind man telling you it's an eye for an eye, he can tell you how not to lose yours.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because he already lost
Come on, man. And you'll never learn from nobody else nothing better than the person that is a victim of it. I think that if it's anything that anybody could take from what I'm telling them at any time, it's that success is circumstantial. Failure is almost unilaterally applicable.
Facts.
If this person failed that way, it's at least something to consider. That don't mean it is applicable to me.
Right.
That don't mean that, but it is a way to fail.
Yeah.
And I think it's something to consider.
So let me ask you, knowing now that you are very intentional, you have a large online presence and people, hang on your word. So when you hop online, like, what is your purpose? Like your purpose. Like, why are you online to shape these people's lives? Like, what are you trying to put in their lives? Because I know you probably thought about it and you are intentionally trying to.
I want to give people a happy medium between the thing they saw before me and the thing they see after.
Okay.
I'm not getting on here with sad stories and things that you should consider about me and rethink your life. And I'm also not getting on here with no slapstick comedy, falling down and pies in the face. A happy medium of phenomenal quality as well as informative things. Side note, information will never be received as well as it is when it's entertaining.
Copy.
Copy.
I mean? And I feel like that's my issue is I can give you the information, but me personally, I am not here I feel like, I don't want to necessarily entertain them, but I want to give you the info. Yeah. But like you said, it's not received the same because
I know that don't nobody give a fuck about what I'm saying.
Yeah.
We gotta be realistic. Nobody cares about what I'm saying if it's not entertaining.
Copy.
And when I'm saying entertaining, I'm not talking about I'm talking about this is visually aesthetically, this is pleasing. Why is that look this way? This is beautiful. This is ugly. This is crazy. This is scary. Everything is entertainment. Side note of that, you get the exact same feeling when you're scared as when you're happy, when you're fearful as when you're tired. It's the same feeling with a different context. Goosebumps are the same thing all the time.
Right.
It's just what happened before.
Right.
So entertaining, like things being entertaining, all of the factors matter. You could go and they do it all the time. You see it. They go and redo visuals I've done or re-voice them. There's been big companies, T-Mobile and other places, and they literally say word for word what I said in these things, but it doesn't work.
It don't hit the same because
this is the voice that God would choose if he wanted to be a man. I'm not associating myself like another comparison, but this is a beautiful voice, and that is a part of the entertainment that cannot be subtracted.
Yeah.
And these African features cannot be mimicked. They cannot be, and it gives influence and power and this attire. And when I go to my seamstress and have her pull the arms up because I don't want the wings in that bitch you feel what I'm saying? And pull the pants in and pull the collar. These things are important. And I know intentionally that the aesthetics make sense.
Copy.
You know what I mean? My collars stopped fitting so well. I stopped working out for a minute. I've been out of the gym for about a month and some change.
I'm glad you just spoke that up because I was going to ask you, like, where did that come into play? Because, I mean, you've been in shape for a minute. You know what I mean?
Well, I don't know what in shape is, to be for real. People that I look at as in shape is like Flash, my trainer.
Okay.
Built like a Mack truck.
Yeah.
And it's insane. And he don't have to work hard by it. It's just what it is. And so that being my influence when I'm working out, everything that I know has come as a direct result of Flash.
Okay.
If you don't know Flash action, that's fine. Go and figure it out.
Yeah.
It's a scientist when it comes to this. But I originally started working out because a woman that I cared for, I wanted to work out with her, keep her popping, things like this, which is important. Take your bitch to the gym. But so those things, it's important to again, my son 18. I can whoop my son right now.
I hope so.
He's a big guy. He ain't no little guy. My son, he 18, he probably say 5'10", 215 maybe, solid as a rock. Shoulders can barely fit through the door. He's a big guy. I'll put something on him.
Do you also incorporate the diet with the workout too?
Yeah, but not intentionally though.
Okay.
That wasn't an intentional move originally.
Okay.
I sent my apprentice. Ooh, this is funny. I sent my apprentice to give me some Subway. The tattoo studio Subway is literally
right
across
there.
You feel me? I sent my apprentice to give me a Subway and my son. And so I'm just a meat and cheese guy. Pizza, meat and cheese, sandwich, meat and cheese, whatever, meat and cheese. But I'm raising a boy, and I give him all the vegetables as well as whatever meat. You know what I mean? I'm a daddy, right? You know, gotta make sure they're healthy. They get them backwards.
Oh, okay.
My son got the half sandwich, meat and cheese. I got the full sandwich, all the vegetables and stuff. I don't even know what meat is on it. I said I'm not eating meat no more. I ain't ate meat since that day.
How long has that been?
8 years, 7, 8 years probably.
Damn,
you know what I mean?
So 8 years, no meat.
Let me pause. That was wicked.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
we talking about diets, man.
So
We talking about.
grown,
I didn't think.
I'm not.
I didn't think Amani was gonna hit me with the pause, man.
I'm never gonna be too.
We
grown
wouldn't
for
even
that.
think about that.
Yeah.
That's what makes it the best. No, yeah, it probably been 7, 8 years, like 2016.
Would you call yourself a vegan?
No, it's too many rules to that.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I don't know all the rules. I just don't eat meat. You know what I mean?
So is it vegetarian then?
Here you go.
I'm just
don't know. I don't mess with them people. I can't. You know, I can't say. And I'm not saying that I'm not saying that the way that I eat don't emulate that. I just don't know the rules to that to say that I am any of those things.
Man, here's how I feel about the dieting thing, man. Like I said, like I'm into keto.
Respect.
Ketosis.
Is it working?
It has. I was earlier last year. I was 315. Now I'm like 260.
You talking about it? I think it is.
50, 60 pounds.
I think you need to be. That's what you need to be hitting. You need to be hitting them keto and let them know about this story.
Man, I need to get up and flash and have me get like,
Man,
you know what I'm saying? That's what I'm ready for.
You're going the right way though.
You know what I'm saying?
A lot of people want to do all the bulking early.
Yeah.
Cut first. Then build up.
Yeah, that's
otherwise
what
you ain't gonna see the power. You ain't gonna see that. You ain't gonna really see it, or you'll get locked into the look of bigger and then not focus on also getting smaller first. So, but congratulations, hit a round of applause for that.
For sure, man.
You said 315.
Yeah, I was 315
to 260.
Yeah, I'm 260,
baby.
2 now.
Yeah,
So,
get in front of it.
Yeah, I've been fucking up though. I was on a cruise, man. Started eating good on there.
You back on the mission though?
Trying to, man. Me
Okay.
and my lady, man,
Took
been
a little
trying to.
break?
It's just
That's
that
all
shit be difficult. I was just gonna commend you because, like you said, 8 years, bro. That's a mental thing. That's
No.
That's
don't
a
commend me
mind
because it's not. I'm not a foodie though. I don't enjoy eating at all.
okay.
I had my chef come just because we here and I care.
Yeah,
everybody can have something, but I don't listen. If they make the peel where you could just boink and that's the whole man. What?
And that's what's
It'll be
scaring
efficient.
me, bro.
It'll be efficient.
Man, I would never eat again.
That Ozempic shit is scaring me, bro.
No. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about having an entire meal in a peel.
Okay.
Yeah. But in it likely I would not consider that. But I'm saying that I don't enjoy food. I don't enjoy eating. I don't eat for, you know what I mean? That's not my thing. I don't go places. I don't go to restaurants. I don't, you know what I mean? That's just not.
See,
my
I was
thing.
watching something on TV. They talking about food right now. They was talking about how black and white people, man. It got to that. It was like black people. They say we eat.
That's cool. You can hit
small issue. We eat to survive or eat to live, and they say like the people out like Caucasian, they eat to. So basically, what's the same shit that Dr. Sebi was telling us? Basically, is what they're doing, but they jack.
You believe it?
No.
I believe. I feel like this. I feel like
No. Do you believe that?
I don't.
That internet about to whoop your ass, boy. You believe
Man,
that? You don't see all them mukbangers. You ain't been. I don't want to get into that. I'm backing out of it because it was about to get dirty. I don't like that. I'm gonna tell you what. Let's keep it greasy. I don't like when niggas believe white people about niggas.
No, that's not.
I don't
what I was
like
saying.
when niggas believe niggas about niggas versus anybody. That's crazy.
So you say the Dr. Sebi stuff is you just throw that out the way?
That is not what is at hand.
Okay.
What I'm saying is black people eating for entertainment and white people eating for necessity is atrocious. That is not any. Come on. That's not a. You cannot compare these things.
Right.
That's not. It's not realistic, and I'm too big of a fan of black people to believe anything that's built off of a metric outside of the inner workings of black people.
It makes sense. It makes sense.
That's a good way you put that. Like for real. Like now that I think about it,
Yeah.
seems kind of
And it's too easy. I even added to it as saying I don't like when people believe black people about black people versus white people when it's coming from a scope outside of or even internally. Why would there ever be a comparison of different cultures for the same thing?
That makes sense.
That's crazy.
What about this? Because we got our guy over here who he always likes to bring up. For instance, say white people will be doing something nefarious, but then a black person does something of that same lane, and instead of giving this black person his, I guess, ridicule for doing it, he's like, well, the white people been doing this shit for 30 years. Like I don't get that.
I think I need something more specific so that I can.
What's a good example of it? For instance, let's say Diddy. I don't want to get into the sexual part, but maybe his misconduct as a CEO, and how he treats his artists. But it could be argued that the industry in itself, primarily white people, that's their main go-to, the way that he treats people. So we should ignore the treatment that Diddy gives to his artists because that's just the standard of the industry per white people.
I think the major difference is the fall and negativity of black people has been turned into entertainment for the history of black people. When white people do things, also, you don't know the inner workings of white culture. Let's be realistic. And white people don't know the inner workings of black culture. True. This is why there's such a large separation. But what is given is usually put on, is broadcast. Right? So it's not that whatever Holmes did was right or wrong. It's that it should not be publicized this way. You know?
Yeah, that's what you're saying.
But what happens a lot of times is people will villainize their own people.
Right.
And it goes back to what we were talking about, social media. You don't know who's watching. Right. You know?
Oh man, you right. No, keep going. You right. I'm sorry.
I think it's important to consider your audience, and it's things that niggas that I fuck with. I don't know if you can say niggas. It's things.
Yeah, we in and out. Go ahead. You know what I'm saying? Talk your shit.
It's shit niggas do that I don't like, that I know, but I would never tell you.
Right.
This is my nephew. This nigga does shit that I fucking hate. I would never let you know that. I love that nigga. And I turn this motherfucker upside down about him.
Right.
You can't know that. No different than if your mama did something. You wouldn't introduce me to this is my mama. You wouldn't believe this bitch threw my toys away. What the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
This ain't the way to introduce. And I think sometimes people don't consider the platform that they put information on. You know, when I was younger, the certain people, you know, it'd be like, yeah, brother. And I used to be like, man, what the fuck is up with Holmes? I am not. Why is this everything? But when you get older, I have to treat you like my brother. That's the only way I can protect you from an op. You feel me? I didn't bring food for myself. I brought food for y'all. Because we might need a break and everybody can eat. I'm just have food for myself. And then y'all sitting here while I need to what the fuck is up with Holmes? I wouldn't give a fuck how much you paid me. My job is to care for you. My job is to care for you. When I ain't seen you in 15 years, whatever it was. When I seen you at the battle, it was love.
Right.
This is the way you gotta handle things. And I think sometimes the positive things fall into the category of thankless work.
Most positive things, I'll say.
Yeah, I agree.
but the negative things you want to let people know about, but you forget who's watching.
True. That being said, do you want to take a break? Are you